I've never shared my testimony publicly until today. Ever since I can remember, I have been searching. I've been searching for, why am I here? What is the meaning of life? And why does the world seem so unhappy? My mom recently told me, it was right before we got baptized. She said, Carrie, you have been searching since you were little. And she said, I've always tried to help you, but I didn't know what you were searching for. Didn't know what you were searching for. I was raised Catholic from preschool throughout high school. Anybody else go to Catholic school like their whole life? Or not even their whole life, but anybody else go to Catholic school? Just put it me. Went to Catholic school from preschool to high school. Which overall was a great experience. Great friends, great teachers, all the things. I had learned of Jesus, right? Who was perfect. But I was told, my recollection of it, that I could never be like him. And my job was to try harder and just constantly confess for my sinful thoughts and actions. I don't know if anybody had a similar experience. I was never encouraged to have a relationship with Jesus, though. I was actually terrified of him and felt like I was constantly letting him down. Instead of running towards Jesus on anything, I ran away, like fast. I ran away to hide myself. When I graduated from high school, I can still remember this conversation and where it took place. I looked right at my mom and said, I'm done with church. I'm done with religion. I can't do this anymore. Every day I feel like a failure. Because no matter what I did, I told her there was no way I can measure up and ever make Jesus proud. She wasn't happy about this decision, but allowed me to go out and try it my way. Interesting thing happened. When that day happened, I was 18. I was 18. I was about to leave for college that summer. Some of you I know have that right now, Naomi. And my mom just told me, because I just shared my testimony with her a few days ago. She said on that day, I left the Catholic Church as well. She never told me that, but she did as well. That's another story. So I went out on my own and tried to make life work. My theme song was really, do you guys know that song, Here I Go Again on My Own by Whitesnake? Like that was my theme song. Here I go, I got it. Let's go. So from the outside looking in, it appeared I was really successful according to the world's standards. Really successful. I had fancy degrees. I didn't get 1 degree, you guys, I got 3. Why? Because I was like, I can do anything. Like I was out to prove how great I was. I had a very successful career. I had a husband. I had fancy cars. I had a 401k, health insurance, you name it. If the world said it was important, I had it. However, I was incredibly empty inside. I didn't understand how I could have all these things but feel completely disconnected, lonely, and unsatisfied. Anybody in here ever had that? Where you get the thing that you think is like the thing, right? I got it. I got the degrees, I have the marriage, or I have the kids, or I have this in my bank account, or I have this in, but why do I feel, why do I still feel empty? What's going on here? So in 2015, I quit my corporate career, sold everything I owned. Some of you, I think Dave would remember or know this. I don't know if Katie's on today. She would know. Katie's in kind of maybe this stage right now. But in 2015, I quit my corporate career, sold literally everything I owned, you guys, even my forks and knives. Like I sold everything. I did a name your price sale, which is, I highly recommend if you're going to sell all your stuff. And I moved to the beaches of Florida, convinced you guys that this is where happiness must live, since so many people flocked there when they were retired. Legitimately, that's why I moved to Florida. I truly thought happy people must live here because that's where they retire. So I'm just going to skip the line and I'll go move to Florida so I can get happy. That was my logic. 6 months after I moved, I found myself divorced, depressed, and in a mountain of debt. For 8 months, I laid around in bed with my 2 friends, Dr. Phil and Judge Judy, which between you and I is a lethal combination that I don't recommend. I was watching other people's misery play out on television so I could say to myself, at least my life isn't that bad. And I'll tell you what, the OWN network, Oprah's network, plays Dr. Phil like 24 hours a day, or at least used to in 2015, 2016. You guys, I could like, it was just disgusting. So I got remarried on May 29th of 2021. It's almost our 3-year anniversary. Shortly after, my husband and I were sued. Like right after all this happened, we were sued and went on a 3-year battle. We ended up losing the case and costing us hundreds of thousands of dollars. hundreds of, you guys, like in a court case, we were told it's impossible to lose. We lost. During this time, we both also couldn't earn $1 no matter what we did, a problem that we had never faced before. I'm telling you, if money would come in, it would literally sprint out of my bank account. I don't even know where it would go. It would just, right? It would just go. The final straw came at the end of 2023, when my husband and I looked at each other and said, our marriage is completely flat and deteriorating. This just happened last December. We both agreed that in 2024 had to be different. So when I say like, we're like 120 days, this is brand new. We both agreed 2024 had to be different. One of the things we agreed to do as a couple was read the Bible from cover to cover and find a church we both enjoyed. I don't know how those words came through me, because when I say I couldn't be farther away from that, there's just no way. And I apologize. I skipped a really important paragraph after Judge Judy and Dr. Phil. So as my journey continued, I kept searching. I was searching to fill the void within me. Tell me if you can relate to this. I read hundreds. I don't know if Dave's on right now, but I know he can testify. We read hundreds of self-help books. Like, you name the author, we read it. Just hundreds of self-help books. I went to self-help conferences. I tried every diet out there. I hired coaches, took infinite business courses, so many, oh, you can't even imagine. Convinced the answer was somehow out there, and all I had to do was find it. Can anybody relate to that? You keep thinking this book has it, or this has it, or you know what? I'm going to go to this seminar because they have it. Anybody relate to that? Books, programs, podcasts. Actually, for some reason, Carrie, I didn't do podcasts. Somehow I didn't but YouTube, blew it up with YouTube. Anybody else like relate to that you're just in so many, you just think this has the answer and that has the answer. Where was I at? So I told you I already got remarried. So in January 7th, 2024, Eric and I, that's my husband's name, walked into the Church of 1122, which is a church here in Jacksonville, Florida. The only reason we went to that one is because it's the only church I knew. Like, I heard one person since we moved to Jacksonville talk about a church. So it was the only one I knew of. So I was like, well, why don't we try there? When we drove there, I can't even say when we drove there, I was terrified. I was really terrified I was going to learn how really horrible I am, and that I was terrified of it. And I looked at my husband and I said, if I'm uncomfortable, I'm going to leave. And I'm not going to go back unless we both agree that this is a place for us. Like, I can't even tell you how terrified I was. So as soon as we entered this building, tears began to fill my eyes. I had no idea why, but I couldn't stop crying during the service. The tears didn't feel like sadness. They felt like relief. Felt like I was crying away years and years of despair, confusion, and loneliness. At the end of the service, I heard the head pastor, his name's Joby Martin, ask if there's anyone who would like to surrender their lives to Jesus for the first time. Both of my hands went up. It didn't feel like me doing it. It was like, whoa. Like, and I'm like, whoa. My husband looked at me, and I'm like, I don't even know how that just happened. I literally so I've never cried like that before. Uncontrollable tears. So I'm in this brand new place, my husband, there's people all around us, and I am crying like I've never cried before. Like alligator tears. I can't, and my husband's like, are you okay? I'm like, I have no idea what's happening. I'm not sad. Have you ever cried tears and you don't feel like they're your tears? Like, it was just pouring out of me. I don't know how to explain it. Just lots and lots of tears. On that day, I made a commitment to get to know Jesus. On January 20th of 2024, I was sitting in my dining room. I can see it right here. I was reading a book called If the Tomb is Empty, Anything's Possible. On that day, January 20th of 2024, I asked Jesus to circumcise my heart and replace all my thoughts with thoughts that are true. I literally could feel the Holy Spirit working through me, and in that moment, I knew I was saved. 20 minutes after that, because I asked him, I said, I just really want to know what a relationship with you is like. I had never been encouraged to have one. I didn't even know. I'm like, how do you do that? 20 minutes later, he's like, don't worry, I'll show you. 20 minutes later, I get a call that my aunt, who I love, it's probably not nice to say, but she's by far my favorite aunt, you know, like the relative that you're just the closest with. Does it, you know what I mean? I'm not meaning that rude. She called, and it was a family member called saying, hey, it looks like she's going to pass, she's going to die. And I looked up and I'm like, she was only 60 years old. She did die. And I looked up and I was like, that's not what I was thinking to get to know you. Like, I'm like, what? What? So anyway, that happened 20 minutes after sitting at that table. I immediately joined a disciple group with my husband, and I got a Bible mentor named Dale, who's probably just an epic in our church's New Believer program. Today, life feels different to me. Just feels different, inside out different. Instead of waking up in a constant state of anxiety with an endless to-do list, I instantly wake up in praise and celebration. I normally wake up just praising how great my night's sleep was in the bed. I just get into this instant rant. Instead of trying to figure it all out and control every aspect of my life, I now find myself flowing from a place of faith. And the most incredible thing that has happened is actually having a relationship with Jesus. I didn't know how to do that. Believe me, he'll just show you. You don't have to figure it out. Do I have rough moments still? Yes. Had one yesterday with Coach Daniela at about, 2 p.m. But here's the difference. I don't stress about solving the stress. I instead give it to God. I just like, take this. Sometimes when I do, and I'm like, here, just take this from me. Like, whoa. I literally sing that song, Let It Go. You guys know the song? Let it go, let it go. The Frozen theme song. Just put a me in the chat. You guys know that song, right? I sing it. I'm like, literally, I'm going to let this go. You got to take this from me. I don't know how to do it, right? I hope is it in everybody's head now? Let it go, right? That one. Sometimes I cry to my husband, and most time I just pray and I'm almost instantly brought to peace. There are so many people out there like the old me who are searching, you guys. Searching. Now, I just want to let you know, since I was 18, I'm going to be 40 in 2 months. What month are we in? Yeah. Not one person has ever talked to me that I can remember, not ever, about Jesus, ever. Just even being like, hey, Carrie, just curious. Not one person. So there's so many people out there, they're searching, you guys. They are lost and they're just desperately wanting to be found. If you're a believer, I just pray that my testimony today is a reminder for you to share with others. I know life can get really busy, and we can just forget that there are so many people, and the ones that I hope that people talk to, from the outside looking in, my life has looked like it's always put together. Those are the ones that need to be talked to. Because we might look like we have it all together, and inside, it's a mess. Inside for me every day was like World War III. It was horrible. The things that I would say to myself or think to myself, I wouldn't speak to my worst enemy, ever. And so I just encourage and you don't need to go outside of your network. If this is you, if you're not an evangelizer or a speaker, what I just urge you to do, because there's some of you on here I've known for a minute, just stop leaving the part out of your story that you go to church or that you read the Bible or that, just stop leaving that part out. You don't need to go give a speech on your testimony, but my goodness, because I can't tell you guys the depths of pain I was in, depths. Like, however, if you find yourself searching, you can relate to what I just shared with you, and you've tried all the things, including religion. I just want to make this distinction because it was really hard for me. And I have extreme empathy for anyone who has a fractured, terrified thing with Jesus or God. Because that was me, I know. But having a relationship with Jesus is not religion. Please know it's not. Religion, I'm not saying that all religions, but religions are man-made. They're a group that it's not. Having a relationship with God and Jesus is not religion. right? And so if religion has burned you, like it burned me, just know it's completely different. I heard somebody say the other day, has anybody on here ever had food poisoning? I have. It's not pleasant, right? It's pretty gross, right, Carrie? You're like, oh, it hurts, it's gross, it's ugly, it's great, fast detox. Like right? I heard this guy say, he was actually at a concert, and he said, listen, churches are like food poisoning. There's some bad ones out there. It's okay. Just like food poisoning, you do eat food again, right? Eat food again. There's some great people out there. Like, and so when he said that to me, I'm like, I had only ever experienced, and I'm not saying everyone needs to go to church, but man, when you can start having a relationship with God, yeah. And I know some of you right now too, if you're uncomfortable, just know that I get you. Like if somebody would have ever talked to me about God or Jesus like this, I probably would have I would have been so uncomfortable. But my gosh, if it's speaking to any part of your heart, just know that it just gets better. So if you find yourself searching and maybe you've tried all the things, including religion, but nothing seems to fully satisfy you. Hold on, there's one part. How did I miss this part? What about therapy? Oh, sorry, I skipped this part. Just jumping. I also, before I quit my job or quit my life in 2015, I went to traditional therapy for years, which resulted in, I'm not saying therapy is bad at all, just didn't work. This didn't work for me. Resulted in, they just kept trying to find, because I would let them know I just feel very empty inside. Like we're just winning, but I feel so empty. And so they always wanted to dig up my past traumas. That's all they wanted to focus on, digging up my past traumas. I actually remember one of the therapists, because I tried 4 different ones. She told me that if I didn't go on pills, forget what they're called. And I'm not saying you shouldn't go or not go on pills. I'm not making any, but for me, she told me that my state of worry, that if I didn't go on the pills, that I would go into organ failure as a young woman. So I went on the pills. I was scared. I forget what it was called. It was some pill with a C. And as soon as she put me on those, I couldn't feel anything. I don't know if anybody's tried antidepressants, and you do not need to you don't need to, say in the chat, but I couldn't feel anything. Like, I was like, I don't know if I'm happy or sad. Like, I can't tell. It was like Botox for my emotions. I couldn't feel anything. I just felt numb. So I guess there was like so many of them are just Band-Aids. Once again, I am not speaking negatively of therapy. Please hear this. That therapeutic experience, it didn't fill the void, right? Because what I was searching for can't be found in a human being, right? It wasn't. Now, maybe if I would have went to a therapist, that more of maybe a Christian therapist or somebody that could just guide you from inside out. But it's okay. I mean, it's all part of the journey. But I did go that route. I mean, when I say I've been searching, so just to conclude, if you find yourself searching and you've really tried all of the things, including religion, but nothing has seemed to fully satisfy you, I'd love the opportunity to share with you about my relationship with Jesus, how it started, how it's going, right? I have had to surround myself with mentors and wisdom, because believe me, does like life instantly, all of a sudden you're like, everything's better. Look at this, everything. No. But I'll tell you, there's like this peace that comes about you. I mean, in fact, the first thing that happened to me when I was like, hey, Jesus, I would love to have a relationship with you. I mean, I get the call about my aunt, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, that's not what I was thinking. So I just want to thank you for letting me share that, to let you know the fear that I had this morning to not share this, like literally, it was so debilitating. So I just want to thank you for allowing me to share it. And I'm happy. I don't even know if it's questions. I don't know where to go. Let me just see what you guys but just thank you for letting me share it. And if you guys who've known me for a minute, Naomi meeting on the sidewalk, like, I can't believe how much goodness has come, even when, and I don't know what all you guys are like inside, right? I only know what you guys share with me, but I'll tell you, there's just so many people that are searching, and I was searching hard. My gosh, Carrie, I was searching hard for years and years and years. So I hope, just thank you for letting me share. Sure, have the great position. Botox for your emotions, the perfect way to describe. Yeah, and once again, please hear this. If you are on any kind of antidepressant, I am not saying get off. It just didn't work for me. Like it wasn't the answer that was helping me. Not medical advice. I don't know if Michelle's on today, but she is a great therapist. There is such an amazing place. It's just, so I just really want you to hear that. Please don't go telling anybody, including yourself, to get off antidepressants. Thank you, Rocky. You're amazing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. It's, and I'm telling you this is the hallway story, you guys. And, Carrie, when I think of your hallway story, it's like, this is where I was. And sometimes it can feel scary to tell people, but then you watch somebody as you share. Have you had this, Carrie, about like when you share a little bit about your grief story, and as you and people are like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Like, thank you for sharing. Thank you, Angela. I was there for Mike. I love that. So, just in conclusion, two things. Once again, thank you. And then if there's anything, it gave me goosebumps and tears. I just had to hold back. I didn't put mascara on today because I'm like, I'm gonna cry. I almost did. But I don't know, it went back into my heart. But if there's, I urge you, if there's somebody that comes in your path today, just share, or at a minimum, just like stop leaving the parts out of things that you do. That's just what I encourage people. And I wish that I would have been more open with my search, but I thought I had to I've always been the person that I thought I had to figure it out. So that is why, and like I said, I don't know if Dave's on here, but Dave, and I should have invited Kelly today. We've been reading books since January of 2016, Monday through Friday. It used to be at 8 a.m. And then I was told to move the call. I can't tell you guys, hundreds of books. And I would and Dave would be, like, yeah, this is good. But he knew I was searching. I'm like, I'm trying to find the answer that fills this. And then all of a sudden when it changes, it's like an inside out change. Thank you, Zelda. And then just with that being said, so I encourage you to share. If fear tries to stop you this weekend from today till, next Wednesday when we reconnect, I just invite you, you can do two things. You can either say like, shut up. Get to the back. I say, I rebuke you in the name, this is my exact thing I say. I'm like, you're right. You're right on all of that. That's why I actually need Jesus. Go away. Like, get out. Like that. So if fear just cripples you or temporarily stops you, just know you can literally look at it in the face. I laugh at it. That's what works. Yesterday, Daniela was such a blessing to me because she was able to be a mirror. I'm like, I'm just stuck in this thing, and she could feel me swirling, and she could feel my annoyance, my anger, and I'm like, I don't want to be in this spot. And I'm like, I can't see through it. And then all of a sudden she just held the mirror up and was like, and so I invite you to you don't need to be somebody's solution. In fact, no, because we're humans and we don't really have a lot of great solution, but just be a mirror. She's like, what about this thing? And I'm like, oh yeah, thank you for helping me remember. Oh, I love that, Karen. Relinquishing control. Just play that song Frozen, let it go. Let it go. I don't know any of the other lyrics. We are taught to try to control situations to get results we want at the time we want it. And life is so much easier if we just let it go. If anybody needs to remember when Anna's like, I just really want my house to be clean. Now, granted, the path to allowing that to happen resulted in her going into the hospital, having gallbladder emergency surgery, her aunt flying up with Columbia, and her house was clean, right? So if the plan looks different than your plan, just know, like, it most likely will. It just most likely will. We've had a hole in our hearts that can only be filled that can only be filled with God. And some search for a long time to try to fill it with others. I searched for 40 years. When my mom said, she's like, here, and my mom actually thought it was something she did. She was like, I thought it was because of this that you were searching. And I'm like, you kidding? I loved that. No, I've just been searching for so long. And so some of you guys have kids in your life, that they're searching. They're searching. If they're chasing out in the world and trying to make their name based on their resume, just know they're searching. They're trying to fill a void. Does anybody, before, I don't even know what time it is, 8:48. Any question? It doesn't even have to be questions on the testimony. I have nothing else planned. My kid is your age. That kind of freaks me out. Or let it inspire you. I don't know. But yeah, no, I've been just searching just people are searching. And just show up for them with, gosh, just an open heart. Just show up. You don't even have to show up and just don't show up and hide. Don't play into their fears. Because that's what self-help books played into my fears. My Ryan's 42. Naomi, do you want to share it? I'm not putting you on the spot, but I think I had just put you on the spot.
No, I'm happy to. I put it in the chat a little while ago, but you said you had nothing else, so I'll help fill the space because I have a cool story. My nanny was recently dying, and my mom was clearing out her house, like she wasn't living in her house anymore. And she was like, here's a box of stuff to look through. I don't know what to do with. And I'm, going through the box, and there's a Bible, like a regular print Saint, whatever the new version Bible. And I was like, okay, maybe. And I thought about it, and I put it down and picked it up and put it down and picked it up and put it down and picked it up. I finally put it down. I was like, I have enough to read. So I didn't take it home. And then my nanny died, and we'd already basically cleared out her house. Like, I know it sounds bad, but it's just easier for the family if it's done. So we were helping. Anyways, my mom,
just for clarity, her nanny's her grandma.
Yeah.
You're not kidding. I hear like nanny, like some people have nannies like helpers.
like no, that's my stepdad's mom. So my mom's not her biological, and she was like cleaning out the house to help my stepdad and his sisters because that's a sad thing to do, clean out somebody's house after they passed. And my mom was just helping before. Anyway, so she passed, and the last of her stuff was, my mom was figuring out what to do with it. So she brings me, and I'm legally blind for anybody who doesn't know this. She brings me a large print version that my nanny had been reading of her Bible, like in her room. She was like, here, nobody's going to take this. And I flipped through it, and my other grandmother's funeral mass card came out of it. Like she'd been using it as her bookmark. And I was like, here's your sign, right? It's large print. It has my other grandma in it. I was like, I guess I really am meant to start reading the Bible.
You want to join us 6:30 in the morning on Thursdays?
I 100% do not, but thank you so much.
Oh, no, I love that. You know what I had when my aunt, the one just passed, right? This all just happened. I actually, and I never even heard, this is what's great. I've never heard my whole family on my Italian side talk about God, let alone Jesus. And the first thing, all of a sudden I went to her bookshelf because I'm a book person. And she had Bibles. And so I took her Bible and I was like, I wonder if she opened this. And I just flipped, just kind of like you did, and it was marked. And I'll have to go back to what it was, but I just remember it, like when I read it, it spoke to me. It was like almost I felt like I could hear her through, and I'm like, oh, like it was just, yeah. So I love that, Naomi. I love that. Large print, like you can't make that up.
Yeah.
So good. Thank you. Love you for sharing. Carrie, come on up. She said she's got a great, funny, where are you? I see.
There I am.
I see. There you are. It moved.
It kind of goes back to what you were saying about, when you share your story and, people are like, wow. And yesterday there was 8 of us on the team lunch, and we went to Cape Christian. Corey does an amazing monthly leadership. Anybody local, I highly recommend. It's not just a business thing. It's he's just so articulate and inspirational. But anywho,
If you're
it
in
was
Southwest
about,
Florida, if you're in Southwest Florida, right?
yes,
Carrie's
Cape
located
Coral.
in Cape Coral, Florida. So if you're, or you're going on vacation, but Southwest Florida. is where
Come
she-
join us. So it was it was about leadership and how to become like indispensable kind of thing. And there were 6 characteristics, and then you had to pick one. It was pick the one that's most uncomfortable for you. And when I spoke up, I said, well, the one I think that it doesn't come as natural to me was being humble and vulnerable. And the person next to me goes, what? I wouldn't say that about you. I'm like, oh. I said, well, out of the 6, that's the one that I feel I'm always in progress of working on myself. And I shared this story with the entire group. Now, I've been with State Farm 21 years. I've been with this agency 17. When Mike opened his doors, we were brand new, 3 agents, and we were hungry. We needed to make money. We needed to sell auto. He walked over to me and said, Carrie, I'm going to need you to cold call. And you're going to have to, and I hyperventilated, borderline threw a tantrum, and cried and had like this breakdown. And the entire table of people looked at me like, that's no way, because you're the one that says, bring me the hardest. I'll take it from you. Watch me teach you. Listen in on this conversation. They're like, you're just the most amazing. I said, well, thank you. To hear that feedback was amazing. And it just shows how jumping in, having faith, and just doing it. So it was a great reminder to have those people, how they see me. And it's how I should see me.
I just, that Coach Daniela did that for me yesterday too, the mirror. Sometimes, and not everybody needs the mirror. Like my husband doesn't need that reminder. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I literally just forgot. And I love that, Carrie. And I wouldn't be shocked if some of those people that Mike had you cold call 17 years ago, be really interesting if there was a list of those original ones who, because when you show up for people, right, you had to show up for people. People need car insurance. I would be interesting to see if any of them, because you pushed through your fear, showed up for people, if any of them just recently lost their cars in Ian. Or
well, we do still have a lot of them. I mean, I have 4 generations of some families insured. And I mean, some of those kudos that come back are just amazing. And it's just really funny. And people, and they ask, well, how did you get there? I said, well, one, I did it, but the confidence that came, what came from me. I was having the worst, it was my worst breakdown of my life. My husband was missing. I was raising a 2-year-old on my own. My job had just changed. My 30-year agent had retired. Like all the things were happening. And here I am, my most broken shell of myself. And he pushed me. And, I found the confidence, and I was going to Hope Hospice for counseling. I was taking the medications. I was having grief therapy and all of this stuff, and reading everything I could get my hands on. Affirmations pasted basically everywhere but the ceiling, because they can't reach. But it just shows how, you walk through it, you come through it, and you get to be. That's why when people say things like that to me now, I just say thank you. Instead of saying, wow, it was a journey, or wow, you should have seen me, you should have known me. Somebody said, I would have liked to have met you 12 years ago. I said, oh, I'm glad you didn't.
and you're like, and you're not going to, because I'm not going to become her again.
Carrie
No,
today is very different.
Gosh, I love that. And you're going to continue, like, just so you know, like, we're all just going to continue to evolve, just like the plants outside do. They remind us that sometimes it looks, you're in fall, right? You shed some leaves, right? And sometimes it looks like maybe you need to be nourished with the rain. And sometimes it's winter, right? And it's just, it's lean, and we're just going to keep to evolve. And thank you for reminding us all, though, to be vulnerable, that vulnerable and being humble is leadership, because I too, that would be something I've struggled with. Today was not something that I would say was easy for me. It's hard to let people know that you're a mess, that you were a mess. Like, that's not an easy story. It wasn't for me. Maybe it felt easy to hear it, but it was not easy for me to tell it. And so I just love that. Thank you for reminding me that humble and vulnerable is actually a leadership skill, not a.
That's, yeah, absolutely. And it, you don't have to go into the details of the story. You just need to know, yeah, I walked through some shit and here I am.
And it was ugly. So I invite you as Carrie, thank you. Love you. I hope so a few things. Once again, I just want to echo, thank you for allowing me to share. And if anyone in here, once again, uncomfortable, that's cute. Like, I don't just know I have such empathy for that because that was me. I'm like, there's just no way. However, but thank you. So thank you. If anyone has any questions for me, just reach out to me. Send me, you guys all have like a direct text message to me, so you can text me. And then thirdly, I just enjoy this weekend, right? May is truly the best month ever. You're going to go through, you have this wonderful holiday weekend to hopefully be with friends and family. And I hope some of you are really going to be with God. Like, just allow so much space, allow things that you've been holding on to and trying to figure out. You can let those go today. Literally put on that Frozen song and like, let it go, clean out that closet. We will not meet Monday, right? That's a holiday. I hope most of you are off, and we won't meet Tuesday, okay? Because there's a lot of you that are traveling. But we will be back Wednesday. I can send a reminder text on Tuesday that we are not meeting. If anything, the Facebook group is still live. Of course, we're all here for each other. So you can always just reach out. But we will not meet. Did everybody hear that? Monday or Tuesday. We'll be back live Wednesday. And I just hope, okay, perfect. Naomi's confirming. Did everybody just put a yes? Did everybody just hear that? We're not going to meet Monday or Tuesday. I really pray that you guys have lots of walks, pool time. What was Bill's mowing the lawn time? Allow yourself to really listen, because as we conclude May together, and we're going to let go of some things in May, June truly can be that. Actually, today can be that day that you have been asking for. Today is the day you've been asking for, right? Just expect all those good things to happen, that it is the best day. I love you guys too. So I will see you guys next Wednesday. Actually, I would love, just real quick, let me grab our Facebook group. I would just love if you guys could just go in and share just anything that your heart, just what was your favorite part of today? Maybe it was what something Carrie said, Naomi said, maybe it was something I said. I would just love to hear from you. So if you could just be so kind and practice leadership, as Carrie just said, I would just love to, oops, I just sent that directly to you, Naomi, sorry. Just click the link in the chat and just go share, like, what was just something that you heard today? But I love you all. I can't wait to hear about your amazing weekend next Wednesday. And I hope this is just truly the best day for you. I can't wait for one of you to, or many of you actually, to share, like, you're not going to believe what happened. You're not going to believe what happened, right? Your miracle story. I love you all. Just please click the link in the chat before you head out and just share just what was something that you heard today. What's something that touched your heart? I love you all. I know a few of you are going to stay on. I will not hit the red button. And I will see you guys next week. Enjoy this weekend. Gosh, enjoy this weekend. Love you all. See you guys next week. Oh, and thank you for our guests for coming. Thank you. Thank you. Let me pop up. Hold on one second. Love you guys. See you soon. Let me see here. Oh, Penny, you can, let me see here. Oh, wait, hold on. Did everybody, Angela, I actually didn't end the room, and then,
Yeah.
I was so proud. Penny, if you want to stay for a minute, we're just gonna,
The other lady's back.
we're just gonna pray.
That was amazing.
Did they come? Oh, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Let me see if they're coming back. I just sent a text.
Okay.
So Penny, I know Penny,
Okay.
Penny's a Christian sister. I don't even know if she's here. But we are just going to pray together really quick, Penny. So you're more than welcome to stay. I did pop everybody out back into the waiting room. Let me see if they're gonna come back. Oh my God. Oh, I can turn my
That
video
was
back.
amazing testimony, Carrie.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Oh my goodness. Well, I tell you that I woke up and like just was just in this beautiful, like just praise. I was so excited. Not just about the day. I really wake up in this moment of praise and I just look at my husband and I'm just overjoyed. And then all of a sudden I get in the shower and
Yes.
it just hit like, whoa. And I'm like, whoa, right? And you know, you know, it's the enemy too, when it's, hold on, Barb's popping back. I'm going to
Okay.
see it. But you know, it's the enemy when it's outside in, right? And it felt very,
Mm-hmm. Coming for you. That's why it's so important to keep you
Oh.
emerged right now, because your baby's still vulnerable to the attacks. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you're staying close to the fire.
Oh my, and it just, but you know what, the things that I felt like where I was getting attacked, I literally just said, I actually agree with you. And if it was up to me, I wouldn't want to do this either. And so, but that's why I need Jesus and I don't need you. So goodbye and
Right.
bye. But that was that was my conversation. And then all of a sudden, just peace returned. And yeah, I don't know why, like, well, actually, I don't need to even know why why that was there, but thank you. Thank you, thank you. If we can quick, I need to shower. I did that, but I think Eileen is, do you want to just respond to her, Angela, that we can be
Okay.
quick, we can just pray it out? And Barb, thank you for hopping back. I think you're at school today, right? Or no, are you already off? Oh, you're muted, but
I'm not there yet. But I can go. We got today, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and we're done.
mm. And then like done like summer break, baby, like woo.
Yep. And then I'm not going back. Right, Angela? I'm not going back.
Absolutely. You're
Gosh,
you're gonna
I
be
haven't, okay,
retired.
so
We're working hard.
we have to pray for that for sure. Oh my gosh, I didn't know, like,
Yes.
hand sweat.
Leah's saying that she can't join.
Mhm.
Her family's leaving. They're about to leave, heading back to Nashville.
Yep, I saw
So she
that, and
said-
then
okay.
if
Okay.
Eileen just clicks back in, we could hop in. Let me
She's
oh my
hopping her back
gosh.
in. Barb, I heard that, and I stand in agreement with you.
Oh, hold on, let me
Yep.
there. What
Make it work.
Yes.
there she is. Okay, here's Eileen. So hi, beautiful. What is that on your shirt? Is that like super mom or super? Oh, you're
Hey,
muted.
Penny.
I had a cousin who was fighting cancer.
Oh,
It's Mighty Heidi is what it is.
I
So we all got shirts. She passed away, but we got shirts in support of her. So
love it. Was she a believer?
she was.
Oh, good. Like, I'm very sorry for your loss, but there's
Yes.
something I was just talking about, a friend of somebody who passed and he loved Jesus. And I said, does this sound wrong to say I'm actually really excited for him? Like I'm really like I mean, I pray he's going. I mean, but I'm like, he's going. Anyway,